Hey everyone, I'm Nick and welcome to the channel. Now this is my 2004 Mercedes S-Class that is my daily driver. Now last week while I was driving it, the check engine light came on. The engine was still running fine, it was driving fine, but had to figure out what was going on. So I brought it home, scanned it, and it turns out it was the EGR system. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I fixed it on my car. So let's get to it. The code causing our check engine light is P0400, which is a fault in the EGR system. I let the engine warm up to do an EGR test with my scan tool, which will let me toggle the valve from open to closed.
Alright, 3, 1. Off.
The expected result is for the engine idle to become really rough when it's toggled. Based on what we're seeing here, the EGR valve is actuating properly. So it looks like my check engine light went away as part of the process of testing the EGR valve, so I'm not really sure what's going on. Only a few minutes after I said that, the check engine light came right back. So it's starting to look through the EGR system, and the main valve is at the back on the car's right side. So over there, but there is a sensor and something up here, and I noticed there's a hole right here. I think this is a vacuum line, so that's not ideal. I also, oh, you know what? That is the front cover rubbed on this and made a hole in it. So maybe over time, that's why it just showed up. This became an issue. Let's see. Hopefully the rain isn't too loud. Yeah, you can see it rubbed there, huh? Let's see. Pop that in, pop that down. Yeah, it rubbed right here. Rubbed right through that plastic line. Okay. Alright, so what I'm gonna do before I go any further is I'm gonna see if I block this. Does the engine run better or not? Wow, it's raining hard. Holy moly. Okay. Let's see if things run a little smoother with that blocked. Doesn't seem to change much, but it shouldn't be open like this. Let's see. Check engine light is still on. Let's power cycle this. Still on. I might need to clear it, but I don't know if it'll go away. As it turns out, this line is not part of the EGR system, but we'll take care of it a little later in the video. Alright, I'm going to shut this off, and next we're going to look, see if there's any lines that are damaged, vacuum lines back there, and we'll keep moving. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is take off the engine cover and the pipes. So we'll start with the pipes first. So you just be careful. You want to pull gently back and then free them from the front. Same thing here. There we go. And then this clips in here. You can lift it up and out. You can pull on the little metal clips that go around these nubs. That might help free them. Okay, so that clips into these nubs here. There's 4. One back there, and one back there. And then we have our throttle body back there. Our EGR valve is right there. And it's toasty in here because the engine's been running, so the exhaust is hot, the engine's hot. But from what I understand, this pipe here goes from the EGR valve and lets exhaust flow into the intake manifold. And this valve actuates and regulates that flow. I don't see any obviously bad air lines. Yeah, because apparently this recirculation line can get, gummed up. Well, not gummed up, like buildup can form inside it from the exhaust particulate. Vacuum lines I can see look fine. That's good. There's another one back here. That one looks a little tired, a little dry. The rubber does get exposed to a fair amount of heat in this area. After doing some research, I ended up ordering an EGR valve replacement kit. I'll leave some links in the video description to what I got from FCP Euro. Once it arrived, I got right to it. Our EGR valve system is all back here, and got a little big old nut here. We got some vacuum lines. We got a connector that lives right here. We've got the pipe that goes back here, but to get to the mounting bolts here, I'm going to remove these two parts of the intake. So this is one top part, and then there's a 90-degree into the throttle body, which is at the back of the engine. So we got our MAF sensor right here we got to pull out. Just the connector right there. And then right here, there's like two little arms that grab on the manifold. There we go, there's like a collar there. Pop that apart. That can come back. Now with this ring freed, we can pull it out. It clips around the hose, so you'll have to get that off. There we go. Get this out here. And we can pop this. There's a little metal tab at the back we want to release. Oh, there we go. So it hooks under there. Oh, this seal here stays there. And now right here we have a little catch right there, and then there's one on the bottom side too. Kind of hooks in right there. So we're gonna use the same trim tool, and then the bottom one, there's like a thumb lever we can use. Maybe I could do the bottom one first. Yep. I'm gonna be gentle, I don't want to break it. Okay, push back there. Yeah, and then on the bottom, there's a little tab. Pull that back. There's a PCV lines. So I'll bring the camera over. You can see the little push tab down here. With that released and just pivoted out of the way, we should be in business. So right here, that little lever looking thing, push that, it'll release the bottom. You just have to slide that back off the throttle body, which is right in there. But that's enough, because here we have better access to these two bolts. As we'll see later, we do need the space where that 90-degree pipe is, so when you get to this point, just remove the rubber PCB hose and remove the elbow. You'll see me remove it soon. So here's our new EGR valve assembly. You can see we have our electrical connector here. That is the line to our line that goes into the intake manifold. Right there. We have two bolts right here, and then we'll have one vacuum line here, and yeah. Then I have a gasket for this in the kit. And the other part we have is our hose, our little pipe right here. Then I have got our nut that holds our pipe on, our gasket that goes inside that nut. And then we have our two gaskets. This here is our gasket for the pipe to the intake manifold. And this here is our gasket for the valve assembly to the back of the head. So I also bought a little bit of extra vacuum line just in case I need it, just to have on hand. All right, so I guess we'll start by disconnecting the electrical connector right here. You see this metal clip here. So what it does, it has two arms, and they're gonna sit inside there, so they're locked in. There we go. So it's like this, and essentially the ends right here snap in on either side of the connector. And you use this right. You're supposed to just squeeze on this, on the connector, and that will take it out. So I'm gonna put these back on, and I'll show you again. So what you're supposed to do is just reach in, squeeze, and it'll release them. So that was my mistake. In here, that's disconnected. The rest we can disconnect later. Okay, the two bolts that hold the EGR valve assembly are E12s right here, here and here. So we'll undo those. And so this mounts downwards on there. I think we may have to also unscrew this retainer nut, yeah, off of the hose, or the pipe. There we go, one bolt. The other one is a little harder to access because it lives right here, and there is a injector harness right here, PCV pipe or tube, and then a fuel rail. Similar clip type for the injector. You can see the little metal clip that holds the plug in. Let's see if I can get that out. Let me see. Can I fit that in here? Sorry. Yeah, it's okay. It's a wobble socket. You can angle it in. I don't love the angle the socket's sitting against it, but it worked. Usually prefer to try to get it as flat as possible, but it's not super tight. As you can see, I'm probably going to need to do valve cover gaskets at some point. There we go. Same as the other bolt. That is loose. Oh, you can see the pipe flexes a bit here. Now the two E-torx that hold the pipe on here are E10s. I'm gonna get the bottom one out of here first. That fits with the long one. Top one is a little tougher because this pipe here, this hose, is mounted into the intake manifold right here. Okay, little short guys, like that. Well, let's see for the other one. Can I flex that in? Looks like it. Yep. Nope. 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 Now, in a pinch, E10 can be removed with an 8mm wrench. Not really the best way to do it, but actually with a 12-point socket, it fits on really nicely. So, something good to know. If that fits on here, yep, there we go. I've actually used this method for the AC compressor before because getting tools in there on E-torx was very difficult. Just really make sure it fits because you don't want to damage your bolts. Here we go. Okay, now that means our pipe needs to twist out of there. Currently it lives like this, or like this, and I think it has to like pivot out somehow. A vacuum hose is right here, so I'm going to pull that off right here, and then we'll maneuver this out. Pop that out. Before I forget, I'm going to take the gasket out. This one's actually in good shape. It's a little flat, but I'll put it aside. I mean, we have a new one, so we're not going to reuse that. And now we just have to pivot that out. So right now we are essentially in the original position. That means this is like this. So we want to go probably down and out so this can come out of the opening. I guess, maybe not. Maybe we spin it up. Up would be like that. And then back. By the way, if you enjoy watching this kind of work, be sure to subscribe. Actually, I have a whole other S-Class that I'll be working on too. We're working on this one again as needed. And I rebuilt a couple Range Rovers. So if that's the kind of thing you're into, don't forget to subscribe because it helps me out. By the way, if you're leaning over your fender, be sure to either wear a belt that doesn't have a buckle or put over a fender guard so you don't damage your paint. I have a belt that's a mechanic's belt, so it doesn't have any metal. That binds inside the manifold. Yeah, we probably have to go downwards like that. That's the throttle body. Maybe this pipe does have to come out. Move this back in place here a bit. And what we're going to do is actually going to pull this section out here. This piece is going to come straight up. We want to go straight up because there's a piece we don't want to break. We'll wiggle this off. There we go. It's off. Okay, it's twisting. It just needs to... Okay. And then we have to pull that one straight up. So pull this straight up. Don't want to damage this. Goes into the throttle body. And now we should be able to move this over. Yeah, if this were out of the way. Let's get this throttle body. There we go. I should have done that first. Now with that out, we could just pivot it, pull it, almost there. There we go. It's a little gunky, but not full of dirt. Interesting. So right here, all this came off of this pipe, but as you can see, it's not blocked up, so some buildup, but not too bad. So maybe something else was wrong. Just as we saw earlier, our valve itself worked with our active tests. It's possible there was a vacuum leak. We'll take a look. Piece of vacuum hose that goes to the back of the intake manifold here is a little tired by the intake manifold, so I'm actually going to replace it with the hose that I bought, the spare hose I bought. So I'm going to twist that off. It's not bad, it's just a little dry right here. It'll probably be fine, but no, it's not good here. Yeah, you can kind of see. Not really ideal. A little crumbly. We'll get new stuff. Alright, so I have new stuff. Let me get, this is same size. I'm gonna match the length here. So right here, I'm gonna match this up. Try to get the same length here. Like that. I'm gonna cut it to length. Got our new pipe here. Pop that on here. Make sure our surfaces are clean, our mating surfaces. This fits on like this. Our bolts, we'll start with the one here and we'll line it in place. So this actually just sits in that area. It doesn't connect to anything. And this will connect to our new piece of rubber hose, or vacuum hose. So pop that new hose on the new part. Drop this in place. That's caught in there. Let's put our other one in here by hand. And now we can torque these to spec. We're gonna go to 20 Newton meters on the E-torx. That's good. That's how I fit it. Here we go. Excellent. We want our pipe here. Flexible side, outside. Hard side, inside. Don't forget the gasket. I don't think it's directional. Pop this on here. Did it the wrong way. Okay. You'd think I would have remembered, huh? But I guess I didn't. Down, back, twist. There we go. Now we need our collar piece right here. Now next thing, if you're replacing the hose and the nut and gasket, this is going to go in downwards into the valve right here. And then this is going to go over it like that. But before we do that, let's get our nuts in so they won't move around while we're working on it.
Put in the bolts that attach the pipe to the intake manifold in loosely until the pipe is secured to the EGR valve.
Now that's loose, we have a lot more flexibility. Let's put our nut on. That only goes in so far. We'll put our collar on, thin side in. See right here, this will be on here, but it's going to be under the nut. Put that in, put that on. There we go. Line it up there and get it started. There we go. Now, I do not have a crow's foot in 25 because this is 25 millimeters, but we're going to tighten this with our wrench first. While I don't have, yeah, just buy a crow's foot. Oh, this is tedious. Now, while I don't have a crow's foot for this, I do have this right here. Now, obviously, if you don't have this on hand, just buy a crow's foot. You'll be better off. It'll be a lot easier. But I'm going to be using a torque extension calculator, which essentially will take the length from the center here to the mark right here on the torque wrench. So for mine, it's
13 inches.
Effective length on the torque wrench. This is going to be here. This is about 2.5 inches right here, from the center there to the center here. And I'm using this calculation here. I'll leave a link in the video description where you can just plug in the numbers and it'll calculate it. And you just want to make sure you use the right units. So for me, instead of 40 Newton meters, it's 33. And so with that calculation and this adapter, I can turn it and the extended amount will be compensated for to get to the right torque spec. Yeah, obviously, again, like I said, I really recommend just get a crow's foot. I'm kind of on a timeline for getting this out of the garage, so. It's good.
And then we can torque the pipe bolts to 9 Newton meters.
That's on, everything's plugged in, everything's in place. We got our new little hose in there. All looks great in here, nice and clean. So we can work on getting our everything back in. Now this piece right here is actually kind of nice. You see it has like guides to direct the air in. That's pretty cool. We're gonna reach in, run this down here. Only one way. We're gonna pop in our hose again. If I can find it. Oops, forgot to put this pipe in. Push that in there. Get our hose down here in. If I can reach it, I should have tried before. Come on. It's cramped in here and I'm short. Clicked in the bottom. Hose is on. Now I'm gonna double check that our bottom clip is in. Yep. I gotta push that hose in a little more. There we go, much better. That is on. Let's put this little hose back on as well. Okay, now we could put the MAF sensor back in. Looks nice and clean. This here goes into the metal clip back there. That keeps it aligned. Plug in our MAF sensor connector. There we go. Now we need this piece, which goes on like that. So this pops on over here. There we go. That just needs to be squeezed in here so these two catch together. There we go. That is locked in now. Very good. There we go. Almost forgot that. Now we can put the engine cover on. Okay. Once you line it with the nubs, that feels good. Put the front cover on too. Right here. Oh, right. I almost forgot. If you remember earlier, I found a hole here in this line. So I actually bought a hose in my order as well, so that hole is not present anymore. So you can see right here, I'm gonna cut a new length of this, same size. You can even get this boot, which looks fine, and this Y, and FCP Euro as well. So pop that in, pop that in. Okay, that's done. Now let's put our pipes in. There we go. And that's it. We'll be able to test it and see if the air goes away. All right, so I restarted the car, and after accidentally letting the battery die because I forgot the key in the ignition the whole time I was working on this, the check engine light's gone. So it seems like a success. So that's the EGR system serviced. With the check engine light gone, you can get back on the road and back into service. I'll leave links in the video description to the kit I used and the vacuum lines that I got to replace the old ones. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, and if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. And if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.